Okay, let's continue study the cerebral cranium. There are 8 cerebral cranium. The first one, let's study the front bone. The front bone is in front of the head, and on the surface you can see in the center of it, and on the two sides there are two frontal tubercle. Here is the right tubercle, here is the left tubercle. Please touch your friend, the left and the right side. There are two big tubercle forward. And on the inferior border of it, here is our orbital, and on the superior border of the orbital, inferior border of the front bone, there is a supraorbital foramen. Here is the foramen, and on the right side is a notch. You see, foramen means small hole, and here is a notch. They are similar, and they have same function, and somebody is a foramen. Perhaps another person is a notch, and somebody, the two sides is notch. Somebody two sides is foramen. Somebody left is foramen, right is notch. Somebody left is notch, right is foramen. They are okay, no problem. And what's the function of the foramen of the notch? There is a nerve go out from here. No. Supraorbital nerve or supraorbital artery vein will go out from here. Yeah. Okay, now let's see. In the middle of the foramen, there is a hole in it. There is a cavity in it. This one is frontal centers. Centers means some cavity or some hollow space in the skull. Okay, here is frontal centers. And there are other centers later I'll introduce for you. Sphenoid centers. Okay. It's about front bone. And this is the superior view of the base of the skull. You can hear here is front bone. It's the base of the front bone. And in the middle of it is ethmoid bone. Now let's see the second bone, occipital bone. Occipital bone on the back and the inferior and posterior part. And here is occipital bone. In front of it there is a basilar part. It's like a slope behind that sphenoid bone. And in the center, there is a very big foramen. Foramen magna. Magna means the biggest one, the max. And what structure pass in it? Do you know what structure in it? Brain stem will go in it and connect with spinal cord. Okay. Now let's see the parietal bone. Parietal bone on the two sides and on the top, parietal left and right parietal bone, and they are connected by a structure is suture. You see here. Here is suture. Suture is direction joints between bones. They are connected closely, closely connect each other. It's very, very hard. And here you see there is another suture. This suture is frontal suture. Connect with the front bone with the parietal bone. On the back there is another suture, lambda suture. This suture connect with occipital bone and parietal bone. So all these bones are connected very closely by the suture. Sagittal suture, frontal suture, or coronal suture, and lambda suture. Now let's see the fourth one, ethmoid bone. Ethmoid bone is a very thin and small bone between in the front bone on the base of the skull. Ethmoid bone has some special structure. First one, crystal galley. Crystal galley means in the middle there is a bony, precise go upward. Crystal galley. You see this one? Here is frontal view, anterior view. Here is a precise go upward, crystal galley. And then the ethmoid bone is formed by two plates. two plates. One is cerebriform. There is a lost R. Cerebriform plate. This one. Cerebriform plate means a horizontal plate. Horizontal plate. Another plate is perpendicular plate. Oh, there is lost per. P-E-R. Okay. Perpendicular plate. This one is a vertical plate, perpendicular plate. Okay. So there are two plates. One is horizontal, another one is vertical. And on the two sides, here, on the two sides, the big one is ethmoidal labyrinth. What's a labyrinth? A labyrinth means there are many cavities in it, many room or space in it, and they are communicate each other. Will form the labyrinth. Labyrinth. Okay, is the structure of the ethmoid bone. First one, horizontal plate. Second one, pedicle plate, perpendicular plate or vertical plate. And on the two sides, there are two labyrinths. Okay. And this picture is superior view. You see here is this one is cerebriform plate or horizontal plate. This one, superior view. This is anterior view. Now let's see it again on the picture. This picture is very clear. First, horizontal or cerebriform plate. Second, perpendicular or vertical plate. On the two sides is the labyrinth. And here is greater galley. And the labyrinth means all the small cellular. The cellulars mean the small room in it. Small room or small cavity in it. They are communicating each other will form labyrinth. Okay, here the labyrinth. And in this picture you can see there are some precise go downwards. Okay, is superior, inferior, neither conquer. Go downward from here. Okay. Now let's see on the software. Okay. Go back. Let's go. Okay. You see here. Neither labyrinth, neither bone head, maxilla height, frontal bone height. Here, ethmoid. Okay, and this one larger. Okay, you see here this one cerebriform plate, horizontal plate, cerebral plate, and this one galley, critical galley, and this one perpendicular plate or vertical plate. Okay, and on two sides, here and here is the labyrinth, ethmoid labyrinth. And you see the perpendicular plate divided the node into left and right nasal cavity. Okay, and on the cerebriform plate, there are some foramen. You see, there are very small foramina on it, and there is the ethmoid nerve. Some nerve will go downward to your nose from here. Okay. Now let's see is about the temporal bone. The temporal bone on two sides around your ear. There's some structure. First one, on the lateral surface, lateral side, this one is squamous part or scale part. Scale part, you need the scale of the fish. It's very like the scale of the fish. So this part, first one, is not very smooth. There are many small precise tutor on it. And on the inferior border, there is a mastoid precise, and this precise you can touch on your head. You please touch your ear, the inferior border of your ear, and in front of the inferior border of ear, there is precise. This one is mastoid precise. Mastoid precise is round precise. Okay. And in front of it, there is a pore. This pore is the pore of our ear. The anatomy name is external occultic pore. External occultic pore. In it is external occultic meatus, communicate with the middle ear. And around it, this bone is tympanic part. Now this part is tympanic part. Will form the external occultic pore. This one is the medial surface in the middle. And this part is petrous part because this one is very like a rock. The petrous means some structure like rock. Okay. And in the middle of the rock petrous part, there is internal occultic pore. Internal occultic pore in it is internal occultic meatus communicate the middle ear also. So they are communicate each other from external to internal. And here is our occultic nerve will enter to your skull and connect with your brain. Okay. And in front of the external occultic pore, there is a fossa. This fossa name is mandibular fossa. Mandibular means connect with mandible. Here is the mandible. Here is the head of mandible connect with mandibular fossa on temporal bone. They will form temporal mandibular joints. It's our jaw joints, help us to move our jaw. And here is a tubercle. Tubercle means small, a mini precise of the bone. Articular tubercle. Also form the joints, these joints. Okay, it's temporal bone. And this long one is zygomatic arch. From name you will know, will connect with zygomatic bone here, zygomatic bone. From this picture, you see the right area is the temporal bone, and in the middle, in the medial side is petrous part. Here, internal occultic pore. The sixth one, sphenoid bone, just now I said, is very like a butterfly, and this butterfly has one body in the center and three wings to two sides. The first one is greater wing. See, this one is greater wing. Very big wing. Right and left greater wing. From this picture, left and right greater wing. Okay. And second wing is the lateral wing. Here, right lateral wing, left lateral wing, left and right lateral wing. Okay. And between the greater wing and the lateral wing, there is a fissure. The fissure between them is very narrow but very long fissure. This one is superior orbital fissure, communicated with our orbital. So some nerve and blood vessels, when they enter to your orbital, will pass in this fissure. And there is another precise, go downwards. Pterygoid precise will go downwards, will form the lateral wall of your nasal cavity. Okay. Okay, it's about cerebral corinium.